Hey, boys and girls, today we're going to be talking about addition equations, okay? The first thing we need to know about an addition equation, however, is something we call the rule of subtraction, okay? What the rule of subtraction says is that I can subtract any number from both sides of an equation, and that equation will remain equal, okay? Both sides will stay equal. I'm going to show you an example of that real quick, a real basic example without letters and variables and whatnot. So if I said 5 is equal to 5, that makes complete sense, right? Because 5 is equal to 5. But if I subtracted 1 from just one side of this equation, would 5 minus 1 be equal to 5? No, it wouldn't be, because 5 minus 1 is 4, and 4 doesn't equal 5. Okay, so what I'm suggesting here is that if you take, let me just write it right here, 5 equals 5, and I subtract 1 from both sides, then I get 4 equals 4. And my equation remains balanced. It remains equal on both sides. Because you have this equal sign, and it's kind of like think about a scale. You want to keep the scale balanced. If you take one thing from one side of the scale, then it goes unbalanced, and the heavier side will drop. Well, that's what you're doing here. If you take something away from one side of the scale, in order to keep it balanced, you want to take the same amount away from the other side of the scale. That keeps these things in balance. All right, so let me show you an example of what I'm talking about. In this example, I have 14 plus x equals 46. All right, so I want to find out what x is equal to. Now, you might already in your head say, oh, I know what x is, and that's great. Some of these equations are really easy. Some of them won't be so easy, okay? But in order to, I have to isolate this x. I want to get this x by itself. Okay, in order to do that, I have to get rid of this 14. I have to move the 14 away from this side of the equation. So in order to do that, I have to subtract 14. But I want to keep the equation balanced by subtracting 14 from this side as well. 14 minus 14 is 0, and that's what I'm looking for, okay? It's called a zero pair. It cancels out, and it leaves me with only the x. So whatever my answer is here is going to be what x is worth. So if I subtract 14 from 46, I get 32. If I go back and check it, and I plug 32 in for x, and I say 32 plus 14, 4 plus 2 is 6, 3 plus 1 is 4, I get 46, okay? 14 plus 32 is equal to 46, because 14 plus 32 is 46. 46 equals 46. That's how you solve an equation, an addition equation, all right, by using subtraction. We learned earlier that subtraction is the opposite operation of addition, and that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to use the opposite operation. Let me show you one more example. X plus 6 equals 18, okay? This is an addition equation, so I can use its opposite operation to solve for x. So I subtract 6, but I have to do it from both sides of the equation. I want to keep this equation balanced. The balance point is at the equal sign. I subtract 6 from 6, I get 0. That leaves me with just the x, and then 18 minus 6 is 12. X equals 12 in this equation. All right, I can come back and plug it in and say 12 plus 6, that gives me 8, and 18. 18 equals 18, so that shows me that it's balanced, and that 12 plus 6 equals 18. That's how you solve an addition equation.